is the symbol of the mind that we're using here, of the baby. Subconscious mind wide open. Conscious faculties have not developed. Now that baby's mind is soaking up everything that's going on around it. All the information, everything that's happening in the baby's environment is going directly into the baby's subconscious mind. It's rather sad, but that's the way it happens. We become a product of our environment. You know, almost all welfare recipients are third, fourth, fifth generation welfare recipients. That's where your self-image was formed. Now, some people changed it. I changed mine. Some people never do, though. They go right from the cradle all the way through to the end with the same self-image. This is your paradigm. Your paradigm is that program inside that controls our habitual behavior. And almost all of our behavior is habitual. Can we change the paradigm? We absolutely can. And that's what we talk about. We definitely can change the paradigm. Now, we start to develop conscious faculties as babies. We go to what we see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Then, of course, we start to develop our higher faculties. They come along. But the truth is, we never develop them properly. We don't. And school begins. That keeps us busy. Now look, we're not taught how to guard our own mind. I'm going to show you something here. It's very important. There's a power flowing into your consciousness. It never stops. It's flowing in all the time. It flows into your thinking mind. Now you've got a choice. You can go to the left or the right. You've got a choice. When this power flows in, you can go to the left or the right. When it flows in, now, if you go to the left, that's ignorance. You don't know. There's two sides to life. Because people live in ignorance and they're not getting the results they want as fast as they can get them, they start to doubt and worry. What did the great sufferer in the Bible say? It says, "Lo, the thing I fear has come to visit upon me." I guess so. Whatever idea you hold in your consciousness, that's putting you on a track. And we take that and that doubt or worry and we turn it into fear. Now, this is a process. What you've got to understand is you're dealing with the central nervous system. It's the most complex electrical system in the universe. This all happens at warp speed. The fear must be expressed with and through the body. The body's the instrument of the mind. It expresses itself as anxiety. Can't see that very well, can you, Tom? Somebody help me here. Can the monitors be read properly?
Yes, we can see it, Bob.
You can see it okay? All right.
Yeah.
When a person's experiencing fear, that fear must be expressed with and through the body, and it expresses itself as anxiety. Now, anxiety is not expressed. Anxiety is suppressed. People suppress anxiety. You'll often hear people talking about anxiety. They don't know what causes it. I'm showing you what causes it right here. And that anxiety is suppressed. That's what turns into depression. You get all this bad energy, you suppress it, bottle it up inside, that turns to depression, which turns into disease and then disintegration. It's like St. Clair Lewis said, we don't die, we kill ourselves. We just do it so slow. Now, why would a person do that? Do it because they don't understand. Faith based on understanding is the key to freedom. So watch this very carefully now. Faith based on understanding. The person knows there's thought power running into their consciousness. They take a look at the results, and the results aren't there that they need. They may not have the money that they need, but they've asked for it, they're holding a vision of it, and they believe it's coming. They're not going to worry. Why don't they worry? Well, because they're choosing to go over here. They do understand how the mind functions, and they know that although the money hasn't appeared yet, if they focus, if they hold the idea in their mind, the money will come when it's needed. It may be in the 11th hour, but it does come. Now, understanding is understanding the law. You'll see the law of opposites there. That's the law of polarity, the negative to positive. It's the in, the out, the up to down, the hot, the cold. It's the law of opposites, law of polarity. Now, there's only one way to understand the laws or understand what we're talking about here insofar as the mind's concerned, and that is through study. If you don't study, you're never going to understand. But through study, you start to understand what makes you tick. You start to understand why a person gets upset. That understanding leads to faith. They just know it's coming. Faith leads to well-being. Well-being is expressed, and the expression accelerates. Why? Because you're at ease. You're not dis-ease. And that's because there's creation. And you've got a choice. You can go that way or that way. You take a choice. Which way are you going to go? Now, most people stay here. Why do they stay here? Because they don't study. Like I was talking earlier, I've seen Mikey change her life since she's worked here. Now, she's been here 10, 12, 15 years, something like that. So over a period of time, you start studying, you're going to make a lot of headway. I want to suggest that you study this real carefully. Because if you haven't got what you want, you start going down the wrong side, you're going to lose. You've got to learn how to control your mind. You do not let ignorance take over. Now, we're all ignorant. Ignorance simply means not knowing. And there's all kinds of things we don't know. As you study, you eliminate the ignorance. What do you think I'm doing? Why do you think I pick up this every day and I read the same thing? Now, let's think about it. The lesson to be learned from the present aviation, or the practical aviation of the present day, is that of the triumph of principle over precedent. It's the law over what's always happened. Of the working out of an idea to its logical conclusions in spite of the accumulated testimony of all past experiences to the contrary. And with such notable examples before us, can we say it's futile to inquire whether by, the same methods we may not unlock still more important secrets and gain some knowledge of the unseen causes which are at the back of external and visible conditions? You see, we're working with something that's already here. What we're doing is developing understanding. If you don't have one of these, you want to get one, go to norrisgold.com and get a book and take a couple of pages and say, I'm going to read this until I'm doing it. Like I asked Earl. I said, Earl, that's a lot of trouble changing those pages. He said, I don't change them very often. And I said, well, how often do you change them? He said, I change them when I find myself doing what the author's talking about. Consciously entertain an idea, you get emotionally involved in the idea, you step out and act the idea, and you change the end result. That's called education. Let's go now, Miss Mikey, to the Q&A.
You got